Hey, welcome to Rabbit and Red Whiskey Reviews. I'm Eric, and today, up for review, Glenmorangie Quinta Ruban, 14 years old. As always, here in Rabbit and Red Reviews, I'm going to give you a nose, taste, finish review, chat a bit about the value of this whiskey, give you my final thoughts on the score, kick you over to a malt musing at the end of the review. But first, a bit about this single malt scotch. So, Glenmorangie, famous single malt Scotch distiller located in the Highland region of Scotland, most well known for its 10-year-old single malt, which I think is one of the most reasonably priced and most popular kind of entry-level single malt Scotches. It's usually in the top 3 of most consumed single malt Scotches actually in Scotland, so that says something about it. But this Quinta Ruban here, this is actually a port cask finish. And what's actually interesting about this is up until 2018, this was always a 12-year-old single malt, and kind of unexpectedly, they've discontinued the 12-year-old in favor of a older 14-year-old. So while a lot of single malt Scotch distillers are going from age statements to non-age statements, here we have an example of a single malt that actually went from a lower age to a higher age. So I did review the 12-year-old a while back. You can check out that video up top if you're interested. But let's get into this 14-year-old and see how it stacks up. So unlike the 12-year-old, which came in a black box, this one is coming in green. And so here's what it has to say. Our signature spirit, distilled in Scotland's tallest stills, is aged first in bourbon casks for smooth, fruity notes. Then we finish this single malt whiskey in ruby port casks to create chocolate boldness with velvety depth. All right, this whiskey offer, okay, we won't get into the tasting notes on this. Yeah, all right, so this is, it says right here, non-chill filtered, which is awesome. Doesn't say anything on the box about whether or not it is natural color or not, so we can assume they perhaps added some color. It is bottled at 46% ABV, great sign. Take a look at the bottle. Classic, elegant Glenmorangie looking bottles. Really do love their presentation. It says here, aged in American bourbon casks, finished in fine ruby port casks. It doesn't say how long, but probably a year or two. I believe that was the case with the 12-year. So, our Quinta Ruban port cask finish brings chocolate boldness to Glenmorangie's renowned smooth style. Savored by many for its intense depth, this whiskey is enjoyed throughout the world. Okay, so it doesn't say anything about natural color on here either. So 46%, great. Non-chill filtered, excellent. Probably added color, not ideal. Let's get it in the glass, see what we got going here. We'll have a look at the color anyways, just for posterity's sake. This is what you are looking at. Deep red cask. Look at that. Looking pretty good. Okay. All right, let's get into this. Immediately on the nose, dark red fruits. Very similar to how the 12-year-old was. I'm not expecting a ton of variation, at least in the nose. But yeah, very deep, really, really dark fruits. You're thinking plum, raspberry, black cherry type thing. Bit of spice too. I want to say there's cinnamon. Not really picking up any of this chocolate on the nose, but a bit of vanilla too. Definitely that bourbon cask influence in there. Yeah. Solid nose. It's not jumping out at you, which means it's probably pretty well balanced here. Yeah. Decent enough nose. Getting a little bit of a spice on the end of it too. Can't quite tell what it is. Some type of chili pepper type thing. All right, let's give it a taste. Let's go. All right. So while the 12-year-old, I kind of found to have a light to medium body, this one is definitely to a medium to a more higher viscosity here. So that extra 2 years is definitely making a difference, at least on the mouthfeel. Right away, oaky, really dark red fruit. Again, I'm thinking raspberry, plum, maybe raisin to some degree. Delicious. A lot of different just red, dark stone fruit, dark red fruits here. It's got a little bit of a bright, kind of slightly citric note, acidic note. Can't quite tell what that is. It's kind of more like apple, red, dark, like red apples. That chocolate note is coming through a bit now too. So you're getting kind of this, the end of the development, dark chocolate, you know, almost kind of baking chocolate thing. Slight kind of sweet nuttiness too. Interesting. The finish is pretty long, a bit drying. You get more of that oak and spice in the finish here. Chocolate's lingering. Yeah, it tastes almost like one of those chocolate cordials, those cherries that are covered in chocolate. Sweet, chocolatey, dark red fruit. That's what you're getting on this. Good, good stuff. Put a little bit of water on this. This is 46%, so a little bit of water won't do too bad. Let's see what else we get out of this. So on the nose, the addition of water is really bringing out that oak and spice. Getting much more of like a cinnamon, kind of a nutmeg. Those kind of traditional kind of baking spices a bit. Bit of vanilla. Okay. Wow, so the addition of water, a lot more sweetness coming out now. Just sugary sweet at first, but as it develops, it moves right back into that dark red fruit, stone fruit again, the plum, figs maybe. And then as it goes back, it's that dark chocolate again, a little bit of maltiness, sweet, juicy. This is good. I find it actually to be a little bit more balanced than the 12-year-old. The 12-year-old I thought was a little bit heavier on the syrupiness. This is a little bit more refined. So that extra 2 years seems to maybe had an impact in that respect. Okay, one more sip. All right, y'all. So value-wise, here's your bottle again. This is in that $55 to $60 range, $50 to $60 here in the United States. I think that's about a standard price for something like this. Age 14 years, probably a pretty decent price for something with a age statement above 10 to 12 years. So I think it's a pretty good value. Final thoughts on this dram. I do like it. It's, you know, this is something like port wine is definitely a kind of darker red, almost more syrupy kind of flavor. It's very kind of cloying. You do get a bit of that here, but I find it to be a little more refined than it was in the 12-year. This is something that I think if you're into sherried scotches, port wine might be something you'd be interested in. This is definitely one I would recommend if you're looking to kind of expand your wine cask finish palette and move on from just like your typical kind of Oloroso or PX sherries. This is interesting. It doesn't have a ton of surprises in it. It's a pretty straightforward dram, but it's got a decent amount of complexity, good balance. I gave the 12-year-old a 3.5 out of 5, which is, I recommend trying it or grabbing one at a good price. I don't think there's enough going on here to bump up that score. And so I'm going to give it a respectable 3.5 out of 5. So you find a bottle of this at a good price, grab it up for sure. Definitely try this if you get the opportunity at your local establishment. It's a really, really solid single malt. Okay, y'all. So that is my review of Glenmorangie 14-year Quinta Ruban port cask finish. I'm going to kick you over to your malt musing. We will catch you next time here in Rabbit and Red Whiskey Reviews. Sláinte, y'all.